Hey, everybody. Welcome to my next episode of Rock Your Bottom podcast. We're going to show you how to grow your business with simple accounting and marketing, because every day you got to be moving your business. Please, if wherever you're watching this on whatever channel, whether this is on Facebook, will be on YouTube, Instagram, wherever channel you see us, please like, share, and watch the video. Raise your hand if you're a business owner and you want to paint the canvas of your business. What does that mean? You want to color in all the lines so your business becomes green. That's right. We all like the word green. As I say on stage, we all want some more ching ching and bling bling. Well, guess what? My guest today is Mr. Guy. So he's going to show us how to paint the picture to get your canvas to the next level. But one thing I also want to tell everybody, guys and girls, one thing you always want to do, you want to show up to all events, whether virtual, digital, Facebook, YouTube, I don't care. Get out and talk to people, because that's going to be one of the first tips I'm going to teach you today, is showing up is half the battle, right? Because we showed up this one event, easy way, a week ago, we became friends. So now after you heard me talking, let's introduce Mr. Guy. Tell us what you do.
I'm actually an accomplished chef, professionally trained chef who transitioned to finance. And over many years of working in restaurants and retail, sports and entertainment industries, both on the operational side and the financial side, I came to the understanding at one point that I had my arms completely around the art of the business, but didn't have my arms completely around the business of the business. And what I learned through working in places such as the Rainbow Room and Windows in the World in New York City, places did $120 million a year together, was that there needed to be an interface between the art and the business. And so you sort of, as a finance person, you sort of need to take the role of a marriage counselor, broker, knowing where in that vacillating gray line, what arguments to push and what arguments to back off on. Because for an operation to be successful in the food and beverage world, the gears of the clock have to work congruently and smoothly. Otherwise, the business suffers.
Okay, time out. Let's make it in fifth grade terms, because I'm from Miami and we don't speak
man,
words.
You're taking me down to my knees.
Okay, sorry. So in simple terms, we show, and this could be used to any business, how to bring accounting and financing to make more money.
We bridge the gap between the business and the art of the business to teach business operations how to make more money.
Thank you. Boom. That's it. Sorry. Very cool. So when you're doing that, now you got to make it so, like, I'm a fifth grader. Okay, Mr. Guy, remember this. I speak in fifth grade terms. So what's one thing would you say, somebody on Main Street, USA, what's one thing you think they need to bring what you're saying together, to take them to the next level?
For people to grow their businesses on Main Street and small businesses, the first thing they need to do is to have the proper process and procedures in place so that everything is done based on standards and consistency. And as you implement these processes and procedures, you then want to start to track your data, and you want to teach your employees about the data that they have the potential to impact. Such as in a restaurant, if you teach your chef about prime cost, which is food cost, beverage cost, labor cost against sales, he can then get an understanding of the key indicator and understand how to measure it, so he can see that he's performing to improve. If we keep things in silos, which we tend to do in accounting, people don't learn in the business, and therefore they're not working towards the same goals that the owner of the company has as a vision for the company financially.
Okay, so let me put it in 5 words or less, that small businesses, even the mom and pops, have to put procedures in place to follow every day to increase their bottom line, correct?
That's right.
Thank you. Sorry, I like it in fifth grade words. Okay, so you're saying silos. Define for Main Street, what would you consider a silo?
Accounting keeps accounting information to accounting. Operations keep operational performance in the operating teams. And even in bigger properties where you have food and beverage meetings, or you have operating meetings, generally you have the operating team here and you have the finance team over here. We need to come together to educate each other on the challenges each face so that we can bring the best to the operation and improve the bottom line. It's just the same as the gears in the back of your watch. If one of the gears faults, the watch doesn't work properly. It may not stop, but it's not going to work properly and keep proper time.
Okay. Got that. Got that. Why do we need to return to the basics?
In the food and beverage world, your profit's made in the pennies. It's in the details. It's like you buy a head of romaine lettuce, a grade A head of romaine lettuce has no more than 8 outside leaves. So if you pay $1 for that head of lettuce, you take the 8 outside leaves off, it now costs you $1 plus change for that head of lettuce. And as you hold that lettuce, it constantly depletes in volume, which means it costs more and more to get it to the plate. We need to go back to the fundamentals of the business. Recipes, menu engineering, costing, item specs, vendor bidding, getting what you receive. And that way, and then inventory turnover, managing your inventory, understanding your inventory turnover and how it works in relation to the operation. If all these gears work properly, you're going to get the most to the bottom line. But if you fault at the beginning with a poor recipe or poor item spec or poor purchasing, it translates right through the business.
In the case of my business, if I can't figure out how many employees I need to be staffing that day, if you're a small business, right? If I overstaff, I'm overpaying, and if I'm understaffed, I can get nailed because I'm not serving my clients right. That's a great example, right? In simple terms.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And it has, Albert, it has a trickle down effect, because even with technology, because all these companies are coming out saying we're your solution. If you don't have proper process and procedure in place before you lay that technology in, it's just going to exacerbate the troubles. And the challenge is these companies, especially after COVID, they came in and said, we can solve your problem. But if it isn't working manually, it's not going to work in an automated fashion.
If you can't figure it out manually, high tech isn't going to do it. Okay. Now, why is financial literacy important?
What we're talking about doing is teaching the different players on your team about the components of finance that they're involved with. Functionally, you want your dishwashers to understand that they impact the bottom line at some level. They know better than anybody what's using your chemicals. So if you can tell them and you can talk to them and show them that chemical costs are 3% of sales and you want it to be 2% of sales, you're giving them information that they can manage the process. Whereas if you keep it to yourself, or you just have the top people know it, we're not washing the dishes. We're not running the trays through the machines. So we can't control it, but they can if they know what you need to achieve, they can assist you in achieving it. But you need to teach them about it. Also, financial literacy, from my perspective, is very important because we should always be seeking to grow the people on our team. And the more they know about the business side of a business, the better your chances of success are.
Very cool. I like that. Why did you get started in this, and what is your purpose, your main goal of doing this?
Vision Financial Strategies was formed for a very succinct reason, and that is to improve the financial performance in the restaurant and food and beverage and sports and entertainment retail world. These industries have very high failure rates, and partly it's due to the misunderstanding of the business world and the art world, and they don't come together. Being a person who's trained in both, I'm able to speak to both parties and to work with them. My sole purpose is to reduce the failure rate in these industries. I've had a phenomenal career working with some of the best people in the industry in the most dynamic and world-known places in the world. The Rainbow Room, Windows in the World, did the food and beverage finance for the Olympics in Salt Lake City. All these things, you have a lot of opportunity to learn a lot of things. And so at my point in my career, I want to give back to the industry. And my way of giving back is to help people achieve a successful financial performance.
Very cool. what's one thing you would give to somebody on Main Street? Say, if you have a dress shop, what's one thing you could tell people, small business? Because my super expertise, if you haven't figured out, is Small Business USA. You know, the 0 to 5 mom and pops. Because in my world, after working with over 25,000 of them, I can tell you they're the ones who need the help. So
But
what you
there-
can tell them they need to do?
there are a couple of things I would suggest. The first and most important is to surround yourself with the most talented people you can afford. So if you're going to get an accountant or bookkeeper, make sure they understand your industry.
I like that.
They can give you feedback on a timely basis. If they see an anomaly recorded, they can say, wait, raise a flag and say, does this make sense to you? Because if you wait till the CPA gets your P&L done 2 weeks into the next month, you could have lost 6 weeks of opportunity.
Right.
Secondly, it's of vital importance that people understand the income statement itself basically is opinion, because we can make it look like we can turn it out any way we want by using the balance sheet. If they take the income statement and they look at that in conjunction with the statement of cash flows, which you cannot manipulate because you have to come back to the bank balance, you get a much better understanding of how your business is really performing. And you'll understand where you're going to be cash flush and where you're going to be short of cash. So you can make decisions, rational decisions on how to handle these emergencies before you get to them. And the third thing, please understand process, procedure, and understand your cycle. Understand the inventory purchasing and management cycle. Because those are the areas you bleed most in.
Great.
If you have to add a fourth, you'd add a fourth would be labor cost. Managing your labor. I use in many businesses, I ask people to put in what we call left to spend accounting. And what we do is we figure out we project the sales they're going to do. We say that we want to do 30% food costs. So if you have $100,000 in sales, you have $30,000 to spend in food. As sales go up or down, that number that you can spend will go up and down. Every day you track your purchases against that number. By the time you get to the 5th day or 4th day or 6th day, you're either going to be under it or you're going to be over it. And if you're going to be over it, you have the opportunity to make a decision to spend that money. And you have a decision, you have the opportunity to understand what you did that made you go over, so that you can correct it for future.
Very cool.
Left to spend is a very important tool, and it can be used in all facets of the business: labor, food and beverage costs, operating supplies, and retail, inventory supplies, shirts. My wife she was director of business development and merchandising for the New York Roadrunners, and she used it there in those events to make sure that they understood how much they were selling and what was left over.
So thank you for being with us. Now, how can we get a hold of you? How can we get a hold of you? Because I know there's going to be people out there. And give us a short parting words to end this our little talk for today.
To get a hold of me, the easiest way is email, and that's gsalish, SALISCH, at vfsna.com. And parting words simply are, please take the time to understand the details and basics of your business and grow on a solid foundation. Buildings with a weak foundation don't last long term. Buildings that are built on a solid foundation have a much better chance of withstanding the storms.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Guy. Let me just wrap this. Hey, everybody, you are now watching the Rock Your Bottom podcast. If you're watching this, please like, share, and show it to other people. And if you want to learn how to put cash inject in your pocket from Albert Corey, who's been in business almost 40 years, we got a free gift just for showing up. If you text Taxman to 26786, Taxman or 26786 to get our free gifts. Thank you, and please share, watch our next episodes. Talk to everybody soon.